What's going on, everyone? How you doing? Ron here with Block Buddies. It's been a while since I've spoken about VeChain. You guys probably remember me from the Tech Tips to Go channel. Anyways, VeChain just dropped their latest roadmap for 2026, and it's exciting. I actually like it. I'm actually pretty surprised at what they're building, and I think it goes hand in hand with what they have. I know a lot of people back from the beginning of my videos when I used to talk about VeChain was a lot about enterprise blockchain, enterprise solutions. But if you look at what they've built an ecosystem and a great layer one that kind of fits within this roadmap. So let's get into the video and let's go over the details. So if you think this is just, another blockchain hype kind of document, I think you're probably sleeping on it. We'll get into the details. One thing that I like is they're betting on that next wave of crypto adoption, which is humans buying tokens. Okay, it's called AI agents and billions of them. So you need a trust layer to operate it, and who has it all? VeChain. So VeChain wants to be that layer. VeChain says we're entering a fourth chapter in this roadmap, and the whole thing is built on one idea, which is billions of AI agents, which will soon be operating across the global economy. And every single one of them is going to need a blockchain to, one, verify identity, transact, and move value. Okay, so 10 years of VeChain building, of enterprise blockchain solutions. They're now betting on AI agents, and that's the play. The roadmap runs on four pillars, which is scalability, interoperability, intelligence, and real-world adoption. So these aren't four separate projects. They feed one outcome. And think of it like, it's building a highway system. You need the road, you need the on-ramps, you need the smart navigation, and you need real cars all driving on it. All four matter. So the technical background and what they mentioned or what they call it is called Interstellar, and it's a compatible overhaul for Ethereum developers. And I think this is where it gets exciting, and it's a must, especially for Solidity, right? Every developer that has been working in blockchain always want, is it EVM compatible, etc. So now you're going to have Hard Hat, Foundry, MetaMask, Ethereum.js. It all works natively on VeChain. So that's the overall outcome and the goal that they want. No custom adapters, etc. So every ETH developer in the world is, going to have potential to build on VeChain toolkit, right? Which is VeChain Builder. And that's a massive unlock for VeChain. And I think it's great because AI agents, gas fees, Ethereum is known for gas fees. So, and here's where it gets wild. Like VeChain is integrating something called MCP, which is the Model Context Protocol, which lets the AI agents roadmap on-chain data, initiate transactions, and execute smart contracts on their own, completely on their own. And this is the whole thing about AI agents. And I know a lot of you might not understand it, and I'm going to break it down with a different analogy with a grocery store and etc. But let me break down kind of like a simple part of it. So let's say you have a robot assistant. You hand it your credit card and say, go buy groceries, but only spend $50. And go to the grocery store and don't buy candy or chips. So that robot goes out, does the job, comes back, and every step is recorded on chain, on the blockchain, on VeChain, right? The rules are locked in. Nobody can change them, not even the robot. So now it kind of makes it more real if you think about it, AI agents, etc. Think about this. Think of Polymarket, the prediction market, right? Where people bet on real world events. Right now, you have to sit there. You're tired. You might make a bad move. You got to watch the odds and decide when to enter and when to exit. So, it's all on you. But with VeChain AI agents, you set the instructions. You set the parameters. If the odds on the Fed rate cut drop below 40%, buy. If it hits 75%, sell and take profit. Don't spend more than $500. Okay, so that's the whole idea, the concept. And you think about VeChain toolchain and VeThor and gas, cheap, right? So the agent works 24 hours a day, never gets emotional, never panic sells, doesn't make mistakes. You set the parameters, never misses the window because you were sleeping. And every single trade is recorded on the blockchain. Every dollar that went in, every dollar out. Timestamp, transparent, unchangeable. But here's the key. So how do you know which agents are trustworthy if you've got millions of these AI agents working, right? So this is the cool thing that VeChain is doing. So VeChain gives you every agent on-chain identity and the reputation score. So you get reliability, you get reliable agents building credibility over time. So think about bad actors get flagged and buried. Think about Uber ratings, but it's for AI. And the best agents get more work. So the sketchy ones get shut down. And this is where it kind of gets exciting about what they're building in the marketplace, especially with getting the identity, right? Because if VeChain could really nail this down with the identity and giving scores, people in the marketplace are going to look at, okay, you got a 2-star rating here of this agent not working, and now you could go to the marketplace and resell that and make commission if you built that AI agent on VeChain. Think about all the transactions. If the marketplace becomes really big, someone could be making an AI agent for specific poly markets on Fed rate cuts. Another one might have sports betting. Just think about the possibilities that are endless. VeChain has a lot of great tools. The sustainability in VBetter. So if you kind of open up your mind and think about AI agents and how they can act and perform, get an identity, get a score or a 5-star rating versus a 3-star, it's going to be interesting. But I think the crown jewel of this whole roadmap is like I mentioned, is that AI marketplace, the agent marketplace. So I think it's launching this year. VeChain said, the framing is kind of like Amazon. We want it to be like the Amazon of all AI services. Developers build agents for hire. Regular users rent their capabilities. So that's a business model. Everyone gets paid through VeChain's payment rails. It's fulfillment of the work that they've been doing for over 10 years, infrastructure building, right? All pointing to this moment. And like I mentioned, I think it's great because like I mentioned, like when I used to talk about VeChain a lot, you've got an ecosystem, you got a layer one. So the way I think about it is like it's like Solana and Ethereum. They're battling. One's Microsoft, one's Apple, but you've built the platform. Now the sky's the limit. Possibilities are endless. You could build whatever you want. You could build Slack. You could build an email app client. You could build a fitness app. You could build a Microsoft Excel competitor. They've got the roadmap. They have the road. VeChain has that road. So now it's okay. Well, what's moving at the speed of light right now? And that's AI, right? AI and AI agents, blockchain transactions. And I think it makes sense because if you think about smart contracts logic and taking away the emotional stress of, and I'm talking about the trading part, whether you're going to be building an AI agent marketplace or an AI agent for Polymarkets or for trading or for TradingView. Now you don't have to worry about falling asleep or getting, taking an emotional trade and panic selling, right? Your bot or your AI agent is going to do all the work based on those set parameters. So that's the best part about it. And, everything's moving. You got VBetter, VeChain sustainability app, which is awesome. They already have like 5.3 million users on that app and over 50 million verified actions recorded on chain. So, shout out to VeChain and VBetter. You also have VWorld, their super app. It's getting built on token swaps, fiat on, fiat off ramps, right? Which is full agentic payment support, which is pretty cool. And so I'm excited for the roadmap. And my take on the roadmap and the vision is execution is what matters now. So VeChain has real credibility. They got Walmart, they have BMW, big sponsorship marketing with UFC. They're all partners. Staking grew from, I remember staking was like 2.5 billion. Now it's like over 13 billion. So the holders are committed. We know that, right? But watch the agent marketplace launch. And, we're going to look for that date and early adopter numbers. It's always nice to see how many agents are going to be built and that marketplace. So either this becomes the trust layer for the agentic economy or, it's just another ambitious roadmap, that I'm watching closely. And I really do hope that what they do and what they promise actually gets fulfilled. But, if you're still bullish on the projects that they're building for the future, I put my money where my mouth is, and I've been a strong VeChain believer. I've sold in the past. My bag isn't as big as it was before, but you're looking at VeChain at 0.007, and I remember getting into VeChain at 0.00125 back in the 2021 COVID dip. I remember it was like around March 28th when there was a big flash crash. Pulled out the credit cards, bought a lot of VeChain at 0.00125, saw it go to 28 cents and said, man, I wish I held on to all of it at 28 cents. But anyways, that's it for the video. Hope you like the roadmap. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think VeChain is going to fulfill this? And do you think VeChain is going to get a, put a big rush on this? Because I'd like to hear from the community, especially those who are really, really following VeChain, because I don't follow VeChain as much, but I'd like to know, if you're a developer or you've been working or you're looking at building an AI agent for that Amazon marketplace. Have you started building it? Are the other developers doing it? What are your plans and what is your realistic outcome for this? So anyways, till next time, I'll see you in the next video.